There really is no set rule for knitting dishcloths or washcloths. There are a number of yarns that you can use. You can use any stitch pattern you want. You can make it big, small, medium. It's basically up to you. You don't really even have to do a gauge swatch unless you wanted to. There are tons of free patterns out there, but if you just want to make something on your own, I'm going to show you how to do that today. And these are just a few of the dishcloths and washcloths that I've made in the past. This one is one of the first ones that I ever made. I think this is a linen stitch or fabric stitch, I don't remember. But I used Lily Sugar and Cream for this, and it's gotten a lot of use. It's starting to get those little pills on it. I don't know if you can see that. The color has started to fade. And this is a washcloth that I made using Crystal Palace cotton chenille. This has had some use as well. It's kind of stretched out and misshapen, but it is nice and soft. That's why I use this for a washcloth. It's a lot softer than the Sugar and Cream cotton yarn. And then here is another one that I've recently made and haven't had to use yet. This is Lion's Brand Babies First. It's a cotton acrylic blend, so it really shouldn't pill or get fuzzy like the regular cotton yarn, the plain cotton. And this is nice and soft and squishy, and I really like it, except that working with the yarn is a little bit hard. It tends to unravel a lot, and the needles get stuck in the yarn, but I do like the end result for a washcloth. And here just are a few of the yarns that you could use for dishcloths or washcloths. You've probably seen this, the Lily Sugar and Cream cotton yarn. They're all different colors, of course. And here is the Peaches and Cream cotton yarn. This is the Babies First by Lion Brand. And Bernat cotton tots you could also use. If you're going to just be using the cloth to wash dishes with, I would really just stick with the cheaper yarns like the Lily or Peaches and Cream. But if you're going to make a washcloth, maybe consider a nicer cotton like the Cotton Tots or the Lion Brand. And there are also a number of other cotton yarns out there that you'll see when you're at the store. So it's basically up to you. Whatever one you want to use, it's your choice. And also, stitch patterns, like I said, you can pretty much do anything you want. If you would like to try a stitch pattern for something else, but you're not sure that you're going to like how the stitch looks, maybe just make a dishcloth and you can get familiar with the stitch. This is just a plain garter stitch. And this one actually, I believe, was my grandmother's favorite dishcloth, or I think it goes by a couple of different other names, where you start at the corner and then work your way up to a certain point and then you decrease down to the other end. I know that is a popular cloth pattern. And then this one, like I said, I think this is either fabric or linen stitch, and I just did a garter stitch border along the side here. So really, I mean, it's up to you. You can use any stitch you want. Possibilities are just basically endless. So now we are going to knit a dishcloth using the Peaches and Cream cotton yarn and size 7 needles. Okay, I've cast on 30 stitches just using the long tail cast on method. You can use whatever cast on method that you like to use. And I like to have borders on my knitting, so I'm going to do a seed stitch border around this cloth. And I'm just going to start out by knitting the first stitch, then I'm going to purl and just finish the rest of the row, knit 1, purl 1. Oops, all the way across my row here. And you don't have to put a border on yours. Like I said, it's all up to you, personal taste, whatever you like. I usually like to have a border on the things that I knit, and I typically go for a seed stitch border. I just like the way it looks, makes the edges nice and flat, and particularly if you're just going to do a stockinette stitch cloth, it's better to have a border. That way you won't have the curling that happens with the stockinette. So I'm just knitting one, purling one to the end of my row here. And it's up to you. If you decide to put a border on, you can make it as wide as you want. I usually just do maybe 4 rows or so. It depends on what I am in the mood for any particular day. So that's row 1. Now row 2, I'm going to purl 1, knit 1 across my row. And for this, I think I'm just maybe going to do, I don't know, 2 rows of the seed stitch before I start the main pattern for my dishcloth. Sometimes I forget if I'm knitting or purling. I always have to look. It's harder to tell at the beginning because it's kind of bunched up a little bit. But you can see here my little border here, my little seed stitch border. I think it looks nice. You could also slip the first stitch of every row if you wanted to have a nice finished look on the edge of your cloth. I'm not going to worry about that for this particular cloth that I'm making here. Okay, that is the first 2 rows of my dishcloth, and I'm going to go ahead and get started with the main part of my pattern. So this is what I have so far. I have kept 4 stitches on each edge for my seed stitch border, and then I'm working in blocks here. The center is 10 stitches, and then on each side I have 6 stitches. This is a reversible cloth, so on the front side, well, there really is no front side since it's reversible, but when you're looking at one side, you have 2 stockinette strips bordering a reverse stockinette square, and then on the other side, of course, it's just the opposite. Your reverse stockinette is bordering a stockinette square. So I'm just going to knit a few more rows, and then I am going to reverse it. Okay, here is the progress on my dishcloth. You can see here that I have reversed my stockinette squares and the reverse stockinette square with each other. So now I have opposites here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch back so that I again have my 2 stockinette stripes surrounding the reverse stockinette square. Okay, now I am just about finished. I am going to work 2 rows of the seed stitch, and then I will be ready to bind off. Okay, I opted for standard knitted bind off to finish my little dish rag here, and I have woven in my ends, and I now have a brand new dishcloth. And as you can see, it's really easy to do, doesn't take much time at all, and it's pretty inexpensive because I even have enough yarn left over to make probably at least 2 more of these things. So that is all there is to knitting a dishcloth.